From Petaluma High School, it's the VVAL opener for the Petaluma Trojans as they take on the league favorite Vintage Crushers. And a very good evening, I am Griffin Epstein.
And I'm Peter Canale.
And there is a lot riding on this early season matchup, Peter, isn't there?
There really is, yeah. This is Petaluma's league opener for them, so now their games are really starting to count, and it is going to be a tough challenge against a very strong Vintage team.
Yeah, Vintage 9-5 on the season. They're already 2-0 in league play. They are league favorites. What is Vintage's strengths? What is Petaluma going to have to contend with?
Oh, well, I think if you watch our boys basketball games, a lot of energy will be an important key on both sides, but Vintage has a lot of height on their team, so we'll see how the Petaluma does with that.
Should be interesting. The Trojans, obviously not with Jaden Chris anymore. Their junior, who was second on the team in scoring, out with an ACL tear. Her Petaluma High career is done. The Trojans are going to need some of the young guns to step up against a very tall and very talented Vintage squad. As they quickly score, it's Alyssa Andrews, the senior shooting guard, and she leads Vintage in scoring on the season. Experienced Vintage squad, and they've proved it so far. Some very good wins, including knocking off Casa Grande in their league opener. Nevin drive to the rack. That's what you need. There's some height.
Right.
Nevin, 2.5 points per game. She has been really good, though, of late. She had 14 points the last game we did against Novato. We'll need more of her. Morgan Groves, hits the jumper, the junior, for the Crushers. 7 seniors on this team. High-scoring game here to start. Era Cat to the rack. Well, looks like Petaluma's brought some energy so far, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. It's a close game already right off the bat.
And watching the team before the game, they look like they had a lot of energy. They know how important the VVAL opener is. They know how good of a team Vintage is. And they look really hyped for this one.
Definitely, yeah.
Beautiful pass inside, and Nevin called for the foul, but you'd rather have Vintage earn it at the line.
Foul number 44, Rose Nevin, her first team foul.
Foul on Nevin. Morgan Groves will head to the line for 2. The Crushers have won 3 out of their last 4. Played in the West Coast Jamboree tournament over winter break. And prior to that, they had 2 VVAL games. Kind of a schedule quirk. Petaluma hasn't played any yet. They had more time off in December. The Vintage able to pull away from Casa 40-26. It was a tight game at the half, and that one in Napa. And Trojans pulled away from a very good Gauchos team that should also be in the mix with Petaluma and Vintage for the league title. And they destroy league bottom feeder American Canyon 54-15 on the road. That's why Vintage is already 2-0. Era Cap, the Trojans' leading scorer. That's all air. 6-4, the Crushers lead here this early January Thursday night. Plenty of energy in this gym. Good crowd. School still on winter break. Crushers go down low. Good defense by Nevin. Nevin's been an excellent addition to this Petaluma team. What will she bring with her height, Peter, even though she's only a sophomore?
Well, I think she brings a lot more diversity in Petaluma's play and how they're able to do a lot more things that they couldn't now that they have this new height.
Right. That one is going to be Trojan balls. They turn it away. Nevin's probably going to have to play most of this game. Nicole Gleason, 5'10", the starting center for the Crushers.
All right, no problem.
A half-court pass to Buchanan. She runs the length of the floor, but can't finish. Trojans are going to need to be the one diving on the floor tonight, and Bacon does a good job doing that. Or at least flip the arrow. 6-4, the score here early. If you're just joining us, I'm Griffin Epstein.
And I'm Peter Canale.
You're live here from the Petaluma High School gym. A big early season matchup between Petaluma and Vintage. First time Vine Valley Athletic League play has happened in girls basketball. Historic night as well. That was a travel. Well, the Trojans clogging the paint so far. That's their strategy with so much size for Vintage inside. Petaluma so far smart with the ball. They turn the ball over a lot this year. 16.2 turnovers per game. You cannot afford that against the quality of the Crushers.
Showing Erica. Ooh.
Ericat unable to finish. Good look, though. Ericat, 16 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game. First on the team in points scored, second on the team in rebounds. Leads the team in field goal percentage. One thing, though, Petaluma has, this is going to be Trojan ball. One thing Petaluma has helped with a little bit lately, and one reason they have won 3 out of their last 4, is Ericat, who was scoring 20 points per game early in the season. She hasn't been the only person to score. Petaluma started to build up some more depth.
Right, and that's important too. You can't always rely on one person.
Exactly. Trojans helped in some of their key victories with Ericat, even though she was had a quieter night. Some other players playing well. That one's knocked out. Stay Petaluma ball. The Trojans scored 2 quick buckets on the first 2 possessions. That's then cold from the field. Ericat not afraid to take contact, and she forces the travel. She plays with a reckless abandon. 5'6" junior. Led the team in points last year with 11.1 points per game. She's stepped up to an even new level, especially with Jaden Chris gone, along with Nicole Costa. Happens to be in the building, Petaluma's league team captain from last year. She's their 3rd leading scorer on the SCL champion Petaluma Trojans last year, undefeated. It's been a long time since Petaluma's lost a league game. They're trying to keep that streak going. Nice job by Ericat. She'll take a seat, and Taylor Ayakapi will enter. Ayakapi has been a big addition of late for Petaluma, averaging over 5 points per game. She's been scoring the lights out of the ball the last couple games. A big addition to Petaluma, very athletic, only a sophomore. There's a lot of youth on this Trojan team, but there's also experience, and if they can piece it together, things might be able to go better. A lot of disappointing losses early in the season, but so far they brought the energy. They played smart basketball. No turnovers yet, and they made their free throws. So far, tight, hard-nosed defense, so making Vintage work for it. That's all you can ask for. There is the first turnover of the game. Gleason reading the pass well. Beautiful tic-tac-toe inside. Andrews gets her first bucket of the game. 8-6 as we reach the halfway point of this first quarter. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment in our live chat, and we'll get to
Gleason again.
Yeah, she's reading the passes right now, isn't she?
She really is.
Petaluma's got to start mixing things up. You can't telegraph things. The Crushers are going to get to the line. 3rd team foul on Petaluma. Really nice crowd tonight, Peter, for a winter break.
Yeah.
It's pretty full.
Yeah, definitely for winter break, yeah.
Fair amount of students in the audience for tonight, always good to see. Plenty of parents and community members. The Crushers have brought a large number.
It's a pretty long commute, actually, so it's fairly impressive, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Never mind, I'm sorry.
No, what do you say?
I said it's a fairly long commute for all these people to go.
No, I was about to say that themselves, an hour-long drive, but this is a powerhouse of a team. They won the Monticello Empire League last year, and they were coming into Vine Valley Athletic League play with a lot of experience. We've seen a lot of their talented seniors, longtime head coach Joe Donahoe. They believe they can do what Petaluma did in SCL this year, go undefeated.
Right. And they are 2-0 in league. It's very much possible.
Right, and Petaluma has so far brought a lot of energy, but it's going to be hard because we've seen the Trojans, similar to the boys basketball team, I think, have spurts where they really put things together and really look like they're playing well, but they haven't done a complete game of really solid play.
Right, yeah. I feel like as the season progresses, we're going to see more and more of those spurts coming together. I feel like.
Definitely. And Petaluma, our last live stream with one of its better victories of the game, is the ball will roll right to Peter, and down goes the water. Water bottle okay, Peter?
It's all right, Griffin.
Trojan ball. Joe Donahoe, the vintage coach, very vocal. He's been yelling and screaming the whole game.
He's red in the face, screaming.
Already, and we still got plenty of ball left to be played here in the Petaluma High School gym. It's Thursday night, first game of 2019 for both teams. And Happy New Year's from our Trojan Life family to yours. Well, Vintage being very aggressive, trying to force some turnovers. They know the Trojans have an issue with that. Weinberg driving him, a foul on Kate Isley, who just entered the game. More of that height for the Crushers, 5'9". Nevin, second tallest player on the Trojans at 5'8". Only Lila Bacon at 5'10" is taller. So that gets you kind of a picture of how much height the Crushers have and how that's hard for Petaluma to contend with and any team to contend with. Diving on the ground, last touch by the Crushers. Good effort by both teams so far in this one. They know how important this is.
Right, yeah.
You could certainly be a little tired through the drag of play, but Petaluma, its league opener is a big deal. We saw the boys basketball team when they had their league opener. They knew how big a deal it was, too. They had a lot of energy. Vintage knows they're up against a good team that knows how to win. Petaluma 23-6 last year, 12-0 in FCL, and an FCL tournament championship to boot as well. Erica spinning,
nice,
and hitting. Puts a smile on her mother's face. Casima, 10-8. Ericat's got 4 for the Trojans early. Stars will have to be out tonight if Petaluma can pull out a victory. The Crushers answer on the other end. Andrews. Couple steals, 2 buckets now for her. 12-8 the score. Petaluma so far proven they can compete with a very talented Crusher squad. Kate off the mark. Kate hasn't played since December 8th. It's almost been a month. She got a pretty bad cold and was out in the Trojans' last 4 games. They had prior to winter break, and their 2 games, a loss to Terra Linda and a victory over St. Vincent's over the winter break. Wanted to rest her up for league play. She was second on the team in scoring before she exited, so she should be a key. Petaluma's going to need some 3-pointers from her, especially for the Trojans who struggled to shoot from downtown. Only 18% from the 3-point line for Petaluma so far this year. Oh, and Ayers lucky to get away with a double dribble. She didn't know what she wanted to do. Excellent ball movement. Kate just couldn't finish. Well, the ball movement was there, the finish just wasn't. Expect that to come with time, though, and Petaluma can heat up over the course of this game. Tenacious defense so far. Vintage has led the whole way, but no closer. Ball was off the top of the backboard. Trojan ball. Crushers have turned it over their fair share. Petaluma doing a nice job so far of controlling the ball. So far here, Peter, Petaluma holding its own with Vintage.
Yeah, I mean, Vintage has been ahead this whole game, so Petaluma will have to try to, what am I trying to say? Trying to pull up on them if they really want to be able to win this game.
The Crushers with 9 wins. We mentioned a couple of the teams they've competed with real close. Rancho Cotati, one of the best teams in the Sonoma County League. They lost only by 4 points to. They've beaten a lot of really good teams, including the Gauchos, who Petaluma lost to last year. So the Trojans know they're up for a fight, but they've looked ready. They just threw the first punch, and the Trojans were right back.
Right, yeah, this is their league opener, so they definitely probably have a better, more energy than they would normally, so we'll see how that comes into play.
And I mean, certainly non-league's important, hence the S seeding and developing over the course of the season, but league play is really where things start to count. And truly vital wins and losses. There's no moral victories in league anymore. Even if Petaluma competes close here, they want to win. Andrews, a rejection. Gleason, I should say. Well, that height so far has given headaches to Petaluma, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah.
Now, how do you contend with the height inside right now? Petaluma's offense has been struggling with that.
Honestly, you just got to push through it. Go harder, go faster.
Maybe some outside shooting for Petaluma will help. Not force yourself to be shooting in the paint. They're just going to sub in 2 players. Lead by 4. This is tied for the biggest lead of the game. Trojans struggled to score for a lot of this year, 44.2 points per game. Only 29% from the field, and they've relied a lot on Aircat for scoring. Our best game of the year was against Novato, the lowly Hornets, which was our last live stream, 61 points. Trojans only put 41 and 46 up in their last 2 games. They bring their defense nearly every night, no matter who they're playing. But their offense has been up and down tonight. They're going to have to come awake at some point tonight. If they want to go to 1-0 in league play, Aircat off the mark. The Trojans pull down an offensive board. Shot clock is turned off, but Ayers won't pass up an open 3. Not a bad 3-point shooter, but off the mark there is the junior. Another chance for Petaluma. Weinberg off the mark. Cold shooting Petaluma, especially in the second half of this first quarter. And now a late foul. That's when you want to take the last shot if you're Petaluma. Foul on Buchanan, 14 foul on Petaluma. Trojans have a busy schedule, especially here at home coming up. They face Justin Siena, who also comes in undefeated in the league so far. They're 1-0. On Saturday night at 7, we'll be live streaming that. Braves taking on Napa tonight. That should be a good one. Braves 1-0, Vintage 2-0 in league. And Petaluma, the only other team that has not lost a game yet. Ugly shot by Buchanan. And that will do it for the end of the first quarter. I'll leave it for you for just a quick moment to hold down the fort. But at the end of 1, it's the Vintage Crushers 13, the Petaluma Trojans 8.
All right.
Go ahead and talk, Peter.
Talk, yeah. So, good game first on the first quarter here. Really good Vintage team. We've got a lot of points so far by Alyssa Andrews, one of their tallest and highest scoring players. Yeah. Though Vintage is a very good team, we got to see if Petaluma can manage to pull through. We talked earlier about how Petaluma really does have this energy tonight with it being their home opener, and then them really being able to push through and hopefully get through all the height and athleticism that the Crushers have. What else can I say?
What are you telling our viewers about, Peter?
I was just talking about a little bit of a recap, you know, like about how Petaluma really needs to put their best foot forward tonight if they want to have a chance at winning against a very strong Vintage team. And we start the second quarter here with Petaluma ball. String Erica coming in for 2.
Petaluma needs a finish on those bunnies. They just can't afford misses. They're doing an excellent job pulling down some rebounds so far, though. Lila Bacon is entered. Dangerous pass, got away with it. Casa Grande facing American Canyons. Full slate of VVAL games on this Thursday night, just the third day of the new year. Pate can't buy a bucket so far. And the Crushers get the first basket of the second quarter, their biggest lead of this ball game. Petaluma needing some points there, attack. Mari arcing 3 off the mark. Trojans are ice cold right now.
Working throws.
17-8 the score, 6:38 remaining in the second. Foul on Andrews, 13 foul on the Crushers. hasn't made a field goal for 5 minutes. They turn the ball over again. Trojans have gone cold. Hard to do so against the good Crushers team. Excellent ball movement. Bacon nearly pulling down the steal. Petaluma can't pull down an offensive board, and the Crushers don't miss the easy ones. Andrews leading Vintage with 6 points. And the lead has ballooned to 11. A 9-0 run for Vintage. Petaluma can't buy a bucket right now. Coach Ratchen, coach for Petaluma, his arms are crossed, looking stern. And now he calls timeout. The Crushers have gone on a run. Smiles on the face of the Vintage Benson. Petaluma here in trouble. They hung with Vintage through the first quarter, but right now they can't do anything offensively.
No, it's really, you can see it's the height that is definitely getting to them. They really, their defensive game hasn't been that bad. It's really been their offensive game that's been lacking with the Vintage's great defense that we've seen here tonight.
Yeah, and Petaluma's played smart basketball. A lot of turnovers in the past have gotten them some losses they really shouldn't have. Games they shouldn't have lost. They lost to Annalee, Pioneer, Napa. Played really close with a very bad Maria Korea team. And tonight they're playing up to their competition in some ways, but right now there's just no offense at all. And this is the concern. If Ericat's cold, is there someone else that can step up? Right now the answer is no.
Right.
And they can't. You're right with the height. They really have struggled inside. Vintage, a physical team as well. That's always a big part of a really good especially girls basketball team. And the Trojans are not a good three-point shooting team. So matchup-wise, it's a struggle. And the Crushers have really clogged the paint. You build a wall. Bacon, second best three-point shooter on the Trojans, trying to get something going, but it's off the mark. Andrews, Euro step, and the finish. What a play. Nicole Gleason. Gleason and Andrews have the exact same looking hair, so pardon me. Cataruzzoli is blocked. This zone defense for Vintage is taking no prisoners. Trojans gotten some extra chances too. 4.5 offensive rebounds average on the season. I think they're already over that. Trying to get it back up to last year. They better had 8 offensive rebounds per game. Petaluma can at end shots. Nevin's gonna enter. Maybe she can provide some size and some scoring. Bacon will exit. Buchanan enters as well. And Arcata, 6 of the Petaluma's 8 points. Cataruzzoli, the senior, splits the free throws. One of 4 seniors on the Trojan team, though Angelina Scafalosi hasn't played in over a month, so that's one of the senior leaders for Petaluma. It didn't look like they were going to be as young and inexperienced as we thought, because we thought Jaden Chris would play. The Crushers turned it over, but she decided, she got a scholarship to play volleyball at Sonoma State. She didn't want to risk tearing her ACL again, and she wouldn't be able to play again until probably a couple weeks from now. She tore it in the SCL Tournament Championship game. Victory for Petaluma last year in Sonoma Valley. As the 3 is good. Morgan Groves has 5. First 3-pointer of the night for the Crushers. And suddenly this one looking rather lopsided. Jacopi can't finish. Eric out in a lot of traffic. Well, the Trojans brought the energy for this first quarter, struggling to maintain it. This young team, only 2 rotating starters. Eric Hatt does a nice job of that. It has to be hard for Petaluma, but you only return 2 starters and you only return 2 of your top 4 scorers.
Right, yeah, you need to have a lot of... They really need to try to develop more, and though they have been doing a good job throughout the season here, it just does not look like it.
You always have to grow those younger players. We've seen Nevin play better of late for Petaluma. Yonkapi's been a bright spot as well. They've been quiet tonight. Lead cut to 15. This one was a single-digit game. Vintage never led by more than 4 until they went on a 9-0 run between the end of the first and beginning of the second quarter. Trojans are going to need to get hot to get back into this one by halfway through the second quarter. Jacopi.
Ooh, what a three!
One of the loudest cheers from this gym, a vital bucket for Petaluma. And Jacopi, one of the better shooters for Petaluma. 25% from the field, but it's gone way up of late. Eric Cap with a nice steal. Buchanan off the mark. That would have been big to suddenly cut the lead to 8. Crusher's ball. Cat 2.4 steals per game for Petaluma. You saw her get another one. She just has such a great ball instance. So athletic, but she works so hard, both on the basketball court and the classroom. Also, one of the top juniors academically in the junior class. Has to be so hard, Peter, to juggle sports and academics. I know you both of us have to deal with that.
I try to.
Right?
Not too well, no. It's very impressive, yes.
Yeah, it's a juggling act of necessary for a maestro. Eric Cat is a maestro not just at basketball, but at life. Buchanan, third time's not the charm. He's over 3 from downtown. 5'3" junior, only averaging 3 points per game, 18% from the field. He's really struggling early in the year with ball control. Doing a better job not turning the ball over, but still very cold. Trojan team hasn't scored above 50 many times at all this year. In fact, only 4 times this year in their 12 games that they scored above 50 points. It's a pretty simple barometer. The Crushers, on the other hand, average over 50 points per game. Jump ball inside. It's been a very clogged purple paint. This game's certainly not over. The Trojans are still in firing range, only down by 13. Their offense has to get a spark from somewhere. Jacopi hit a 3. Maybe she's the girl to go to. She's got a lot of good basketball genetics as well. She's the daughter of boys varsity basketball assistant Nikki Jacopi. Speaking of the boys basketball team, they will take on Vintage tomorrow night. Back here in the Petaluma High School gym at 7. And fingers crossed, Peter Canale's going to be bringing you the play-by-play of that one.
Hopefully.
So you don't want to miss that historic moment. But Petaluma undefeated so far at VVAL. It's going to be a good game against Vintage.
Yeah, definitely.
Trojans beat the Crushers last year in Napa.
They're 1-1 on the. They're 1-1 on the season, Petaluma, aren't they? Oh, it's 1.
The Novato game was a non-league loss.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Well. They played well even in that Novato game.
They did, yeah.
And they're playing good basketball. And Vintage, one of the top teams in VVAL, did lose to American Canyon, but it was a close game. The Wolves likely the league favorites. Trojans, see what their mental is. Already knocked off Justin Sienna. They're scoring a lot better. Playing with more energy. Should be interesting tomorrow night. 7 o'clock tip for that one, and then Saturday night the girls basketball team is back. Their second league game. That's the Justin Sienna Braves at 7. 3 straight live streams in a row. Man, if that isn't heaven, Peter, I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
Enjoy it, folks, while it lasts. Wonderful month of January. Starting off the new year right, but Petaluma so far not starting off the new year right. They trail by 15 to Vintage, not for a lack of effort or energy. They really struggle to score the basketball, and Evan can't score inside. And the Crushers have also heated up in the second quarter, running the floor, finishing in the lane. Petaluma zone doing a nice job early in this game, starting to collapse as we speak. And the lead is its biggest of the game at 16.
It's 17 points.
I'm not majoring in math in college, Peter. Thank you very much.
I'm here for you, Griffin.
Eric Hatton megged a crusher, Ellie Savage. But it didn't matter, she still lost the ball. Turnovers have also started to increase here in our second quarter, especially for a team that doesn't shoot well in Petaluma. Turnovers are a killer. How do you score if you turn the ball over?
I honestly don't really know, but I'd say
no way, right?
No way. I mean, just gotta finish better, honestly, I feel like, so they can prevent those turnovers.
You gotta finish through the contact, be smart with the ball. Eric Hatz never short of aggressiveness. She has no idea how that ball went in. If you saw that on camera, her mouth went wide open in shock. The bank is open on a Thursday night. 31-16, the lead is 15 for Vintage. 17-second differential between shot clock and game clock, rejected by Eric Hatt.
Nice play by Eric Hatt there.
What a play by the junior star. That's going to bring some energy to this team. You always want to finish halves well. Three ball off the mark, shot clock turned off, and a chance here for Petaluma to cut back into the lead and go on a little run to end the half. Nevin is doubled. Ayers is going to shoot away. Foul on Petaluma. I just don't understand why they're shooting when they can run down the clock, especially how their defense is struggling of late. You want to settle for the last shot, not smart basketball. By Petaluma, Coach John Rapshin in his third year. He's 33-25 overall. Obviously, his crowning accomplishment last year in the SEL championship season. Another rejection, this time by Nevin. Stays Crusher ball. Stay tuned for halftime. There's plenty of students here. See some alumni. Might try to grab an interview. Point blank missed by Gleason. Ayers a little bit off, and that will do it. We've reached the end of the first half here. It's the Vintage Crushers 31, the Petaluma Crushers 16.
Petaluma Trojans 16.
Yeah, and some work here to do for Petaluma if they want to get back in this game. We've seen why the Crushers are so good. They've got a complete basketball team, don't they?
They do, really, yeah. You can tell that there are some very experienced players on this team. The synergy, I guess.
Danny, we have a quick interview. Just your both
Here, do you want?
basketball and a little bit about college.
Sure, yeah, I'll do it.
Do you want the mic?
Yeah.
All right. One of the best athletes ever to come through Petaluma High School, Danny Marzo, joins me. Graduated last year, and you're now at Stanford University. How is it at Palo Alto?
I'm loving it. It's definitely been a good experience. Not too difficult to adjust and get acclimated, so I have no complaints so far.
And you used to play a lot of sports, focused on baseball by the end of your career. You're trying to get involved with some club sports at Stanford or keep on playing a little bit?
Definitely club baseball. It's hard to try out for the D1 team for two reasons. One, they're really good. Second in the country last year. And two, the schedule is pretty demanding and rigorous, and I'm there to study. So club baseball is good because I can still stay connected with the game. It's pretty high level, and I don't lose sight of my academic work.
Sounds like a great time. You're out watching the girls' basketball team tonight. What brought you out? And they're playing a really good Vintage team. What have you seen so far?
Yeah, I'm just out here watching my good friend Lily kind of Rizzoli and Vintage. I mean, they're pretty good. They definitely fast break very well. They're controlling the boards, and they have that one girl, number 5. Who's got some length on her, so she has a good ability to steal the ball. And they just kind of command the entire court.
Yeah, they've been playing well. Thanks so much for joining me, Dean. It was good to see you.
That was Danny Marzo. He was a pitcher and trying to remember his other position, left fielder for the Trojan baseball team. All 4 years on varsity. One of the best athletes to come through here, and he's also a member of the Little League World Series team. Back in 2013, he was on that team at Winter Williamsport. So very talented, and also amazing academically. We're talking about juggling sports
Right.
and academics. He's at Stanford, and he's still going to play some club baseball.
It's very, very impressive.
You know, one of the top, of course, academic institutions in the nation.
We did interrupt you on you were wrapping up your thoughts on the first half.
Oh, I think it's a general consensus of what's happening here. You know, Vintage's height and really prowess with their basketball, excuse me, is really showing tonight against Petaluma.
Right, and as much as we said that there's no more losses, you do want Petaluma to continue to play strong, and offensively they need some work, but overall they've cut down on the little things. The little things haven't been an issue. They've looked more experienced tonight, and I think there's already a lot of good things to take away, but you want to make sure, if you're head coach John Ratchin, that you really piece together a complete game and keep it within 10 to 15 points, and at least make Vintage work for it, if not sweat, and try to get back into this game if the Crushers do that for us.
Right, yeah, Petaluma is by no means playing poorly tonight. They're doing a great job. It's just Vintage is really holding them back.
And good news for Petaluma. I think one of their issues, though, has been they played down to their competition, they played up to their competition. They've had some really close games against some decent teams. They played close, hung around against a really good Rancho Cotati team, hung around against a decent Napa team we'll see in league. But then they've also played down to their competition. Bad loss at FCO Pioneer, nearly lost to Maria Carrillo, one of the worst teams in Sonoma County, and they did lose to Terra Linda on last week, on the last Friday. So Petaluma needs to bring the energy that they have had tonight to get excited about every game, day in and day out, because it'll be a taxing league schedule, and the Crushers might be the league favorite. The way they've looked tonight, they might not lose a game in league, but the other teams are very high-quality teams. Casa Grande, Napa. We'll see Justin Siena on Saturday. These are, with the exception of American Canyon, every team's going to give Petaluma a fight. And if Petaluma wants to have a successful season, they really need it to bring energy day in and day out.
Yes, definitely, totally. It's been a theme with the boys and girls teams of having energy and really putting a lot of effort into their plays, and I think we've seen a good amount of that tonight, actually, on both sides.
Yeah, a lot of diving on the floor by both teams. Petaluma has to turn the ball over. They got a lot of offensive rebounds. They've really just struggled offensively. Vintage has the height. Petaluma doesn't match up well because Petaluma, even though they don't have as much height, does like to shoot inside. They're not a three-point shooting team, and especially with their best three-point shooter, Kylie Pate, being a little rusty, out for nearly a month. It's super hard to score tonight, but Petaluma is going to need to continue to work and develop and find solutions to their scoring troubles, because you don't score, you can't win a basketball game.
Yes, that is true.
So we'll see how that goes. About 4 minutes left before the start of the second half. If you have any comments, feel free to leave any in the live chat. The boys soccer team is also in Napa tonight. They're also playing Vintage. That's an interesting game. The boys soccer team has been playing some really good soccer. They went into winter break with their best victory over the year, a thrilling victory over a really good team in Los Lomas. Vintage, one of the top 100 teams in the nation.
Wow, yeah.
Petaluma's young, but so far they've really played well against some really good teams.
Right.
We will try to get you a score of the league opener for Petaluma before the night is done.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been impressive. They've been exciting. Both of these basketball teams developing. I think the two most exciting teams so far here, though, in Petaluma sports have been the wrestling team and the girls soccer team.
No, yeah, the girls soccer team, very good. I believe they kicked off the season play with a 9-0 victory.
Yes.
And that's sort of been a theme for their season so far. And
Right.
wrestling just been dominating meets recently on both girls and boys teams.
Yep, both girls and boys, 2-0 in VVAL. The teams traveled to American Canyon, which has a proud program, and both teams won pretty comfortably. Connor Pedersen has been scoring, but Liam O'Neill's had a really big breakout year so far. He's barely lost any matches for the Trojans, and it's them in Casa Grande. We're going to live stream that game at the end of January here in the gym. This place is going to be going crazy.
That will be a good game.
It's going to be a fun game, a fun match, excuse me, against those Route 2 elite wrestling squads. Petaluma could have 2 VVAL league pennants in winter sports to go already with their one that they got in fall.
That would be good.
The soccer team, which Peter mentioned, they haven't lost the game all year, just one draw, and they have one of their stiffer tests tomorrow night. They'll also be at Vintage. As you can see all the Petaluma teams facing off against the Crushers this week, and should be a good game. Vintage has some talent. They're much better than some of the worst teams in the VVAL. So Petaluma will be tested, and they seem like they're good enough
and Casa Grande might be the second best girls soccer team, but Petaluma seems good enough that they can go undefeated in VVAL. But similar to all the sports, they can't have any nights off if they want to take home a league pennant.
Yeah.
That should be interesting to see. So both teams are making their way back out on court as we're just a couple minutes away from the resumption of the third quarter, with the Vintage Crushers leading the Petaluma Trojans 31-16. School resumes next week here at Petaluma High School next Tuesday. Classes have been off now for nearly 2 weeks. How was your New Year's and holidays, Peter?
Oh, it was pretty good, yeah. Got to stay at home. Good times.
You did go somewhere, didn't you?
I went to Tahoe yesterday, yeah. That was good, great. Not that much snow, actually.
No, yeah. Not been
But
a lot of
it
rain.
sure is cold, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was up in Yosemite as well. No snow. Not been a lot of rain, and when it has rained, it's not been snow because it hasn't been
No,
cold enough.
this weekend, though, I heard it is supposed to snow there.
They are supposed to have a storm come through, a pretty big storm, starting I think tomorrow night and go through a couple days. So good to get some rain as we are back in a drought, and we've had no rain for the last 2 weeks.
For sure.
That should be interesting to see how much it rains in the next few
How was
days.
your break, Griffin?
My break was pretty solid. Got to go to Yosemite. It was beautiful as always, but you do love the snow in the winter, and the lack of snow was obviously a little bit disappointing. But always one of our maybe our most beautiful national park in the United States. It's truly lovely.
Yeah, definitely.
So ready for the start of the third quarter here. Petaluma trailing at Vintage Crushers 31-16. Vintage trying to go to 3-0 in league play. Petaluma can take solace. They haven't been blown out of the gym tonight. Vintage's last league game against American Canyon, he beat 54-15. Ouch.
Yeah. Pretty brutal.
Also victories over Alhambra, Shasta, Vacaville, and big schools. Windsor and Pioneer as well. Pioneer Woodland. They finished third at their West Coast Jamboree tournament in the East Bay over the break. Petaluma split their 2 winner break games. That tight game with Terra Linda fell short in the end, struggled to score, and then blew out St. Vincent's with some good defense. Nevin couldn't hit, but got her own rebounds, and then threw it away. There's been 2 players that have stood out tonight. Alyssa Andrews and Nicole Gleason have looked heads and tails above all the other players out there, haven't they?
Definitely, yeah.
Andrews now with 10. Danny Marzo mentioned her when we went over. She's been all over the court. Steals. You saw the nice pump fake. She has been doing it all for Vintage. All Napa tournament a couple weeks ago back in December. Napa High School's annual tournament. Yakati to the line for 2. Petaluma the first team, last team I should say, to start VVAL play. American Canyon are 0-2. They're likely going to be the bottom feeders. Now should be competitive. We mentioned their good game against the Braves tonight. Just in Siena, they're 0-1 to start. Both Casa and Sonoma are 1-1. Should be a competitive league. So far, Vintage is announcing themselves as the top player for the first hour league pennant in this brand new league. (33-18) the score here, live from the Petaluma High School gym. Pate gets a steal. Nearly turned it over. No points yet for Kylie Pate. We mentioned she's been out for almost a month, and it has been a struggle for her in this first game back. You get rusty when you don't play a lot. She's one of the top scorers for Petaluma. Plays with great fire. Now they wanted to rest her, but you wonder if you want to play her against St. Vincent's or Terra Linda just to get her back into the way of things. The Yakapi's 3 look good, but off the mark. She's provided some good energy. throughout this one. Vintage is led by as much as 18. Oh, Eric Cat nearly had the steal, unlucky. 3-ball rattles out by Andrews. It's been a lot of runs on the floor. It's been a physical one. You got it when you're playing a good team. You got to play with your best effort. Excellent pass. Eric Cat to Jacopi. Trojans have cut the lead to 13. They still got energy in this one, don't they?
Yeah. It's not over yet, but yeah.
It's going to be tough, but the fat lady has not sung just yet. She's just warming up the corridor. Trojans being aggressive, trying to force some turnovers. Called it pretty loosely tonight. Joe Donahoe going to call a timeout. He sees the energy go down a little bit for Vintage. Kind of what we talked about at halftime when you're up comfortably, especially when this game doesn't mean as much for Vintage as it does for Petaluma. You often start to go on cruise control, and Petaluma chipping back, trying to take advantage maybe of that kind of play from the Crushers.
We've seen a lot of teams, especially like Petaluma, where the second quarter really is the deciding factor because who can pull more out in that second quarter when you are tired and sweaty and you're down by, who knows, 13 points.
Right, and that's always one of the harder quarters to play.
Right.
Because of the rest kind of factors, as you said. And disappointing that Petaluma couldn't keep the scoring up. And often one quarter is going to cost you against a good team. But you got to keep the energy up, keep on shooting. And even if they do lose, you got to take that momentum that you played well against a really good Vintage team into your later games. And they can compete. They've already showed Petaluma can compete against Vintage. It was a tight first quarter, and I think Petaluma knows they can compete with any team in this league. They might be young, but the talent's there.
Yeah, for sure.
Chilly night outside, but the rain has not descended yet. A lot of people still off work, school's still off, so it's been a pretty nice crowd, pretty lively atmosphere for this girls' basketball game. Not too much to cheer about for Petaluma, but they certainly got in the support here, playing at home. And Vintage just did not see the shot clock expire. They were not even paying attention, nor was I. Good 30 seconds of defense by Petaluma. Jacopi. Oh, she just could not get the roll. Petaluma's had some good looks, but they just haven't gone down tonight. Trojans having to replace a lot of talent from last year. Last year they returned 4 of their starters, basically the whole team. Even though there was only 3 seniors on that team. A lot more experience. It's been a lot more growing pains this year. If the Trojans do fall in this one, they'll equal their loss total from last year. Trojans just cannot buy a three-pointer. They have 1 three-pointer tonight. That's remarkable.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, but they're not really a three-pointer team.
No.
They do like to play in the paint, so
18% shooting from the three-point line. Their defense has been pretty good most of the year. 43 points allowed per game. It's been decent tonight. It's caused Vintage some headaches at least, but often you're going to have to keep up with the team because they're just too talented. Leeson, second on that Vintage in scoring. Crushers taking their time. 3-ball off the mark by Maya Spanzania, the senior. Offensive board pulled down by the Crushers. And it rattles in. Can't give second chances to this Vintage team. First points of the night for Vintage. JV team for Petaluma got a victory. They've been playing well. 20-5 last year, and this year only have lost a few games, including won the Will C. Wood tournament back in November. Jacopi, the best shooter for Petaluma in this one, but she's off the mark. Petaluma relies so much on Eric Cat, but she's below her season average. There hasn't really been anyone else that stepped up with the scoring, and that's why there's 20 points on the board. 20 points halfway through this third quarter. busy schedule continues next week. Petaluma with 6 home games in a row. 7, actually. They take on American Canyon next Tuesday, and then it's going to be a big one against the Casa Grande Gauchos next Thursday. We'll be live for that one as well. 7 o'clock tip for all basketball games. Trojans, in a while since they've beaten Casa, including 2 losses last year, including the first round of the NCS playoffs. They badly want to beat Dan Sack's team. Should be a good atmosphere for that rivalry game. Haight. She can't. She had a ball and was facing the ocean. She couldn't throw it in right now. Ice cold. Most of this Petaluma team. Catarizoli called for the foul. Only a second team foul on Petaluma. It's been a pretty loosely called game. Been pretty smooth to watch. Well played still by both teams.
Definitely.
We're just on our feet, saying Petalum's just struggling to score too much. Zenia. Short. Into Erica. Can't finish. Well, Peter, not good news here, but we have very exciting news.
We do, really?
From Napa, where the boys soccer team has tied Vintage 2-2.
Ooh, yeah.
And I was thinking going in, if they could find some way to get a draw against the Crushers, who've only lost 1 game all year and drawn 1 game all year. They're 9-1-1, ranked top 100 in the country, top 50 in the state. Petaluma is proving they can win a league title right now.
Definitely, yeah.
They have put everything together. 2-2 was the final score. A spectacular game for Petaluma, and obviously you're going to face a lot of offense against some really talented soccer players that can go pro. Ethan Ford, the junior goalkeeper, has been a huge upgrade for Petaluma. He had some big saves. The Trojans able to draw in their first game. They are bringing energy day in and day out of late. If they can keep it up, they can do something special. 37-20 the score. It's a long twos hit by Gleason. Back out, tied for the biggest lead of the game. Trojans cut it to 13, but haven't been able to go on a run. 4 Crushers surrounding Eric Happ. For Vintage, looks like they've watched some film, especially pertaining to Eric Happ, Peter.
Definitely, yeah. They are doing a great job covering her, which is kind of what you need to do, because she will go off.
They forced other players to shoot the ball. They've trapped Eric Happ inside. She's just kind of had to throw up some wild shots or get other players involved, and that's been effective. Crushers getting a lot more offensive boards. The legs have to be tied for Petaluma. It's a very good team. Excellent pass inside. What a find. Victoria Soloro, the sophomore. The Crushers getting some more players involved here tonight. 7 seniors on the Crushers. Nothing short of experience and nothing short of talent. The speed to the rack and the finish. Falling down. Nicole Gleason. What a player. She and Andrews are getting one of those two is going to win VVAL Player of the Year. And they have the likes to compete with some top teams in this area. They could easily be a good player on Cardinal. Both of them easily good players on Cardinal Newman. Montgomery.
Gleason reading the pass.
Yeah, she's done that all night long. Feeds it to her friend. Unable to finish. Gleason just so lengthy and long, though. She has the entire skill set. Ball is a roll past Peter. You gotta work on those baseball skills.
I sure do.
I need to take a tip or two from Danny Marzos in the audience tonight. We interviewed him at halftime. Now enjoying his time at Stanford. 19.3 seconds remaining. Biggest lead of the game for Vintage. 41-20. Ayers wide open. Finally, the Trojans hit one from outside, only their second 3. Ayers has hit a couple big threes over the course of her season. And it cuts the Trojan deficit to 18 as we reach the end of 3. The Vintage Crushers looking like they're going to go to 3-0 in league play. They lead the Petaluma Trojans 41-23 here in the Trojans. League opener. Well, Petaluma battling hard, but at 23 points, that's not a lot to beat pretty much any team, is it?
Yeah, it's not. It's a real shame.
They're averaging 40 points a game, well below the national average for girls basketball. But they've been nowhere there tonight. We'll see if they can even get to 30, but this could be a low in scoring for the year for them. And sometimes you bring the energy, you bring the fight, but the shots just won't fall, especially against a really good, aggressive zone defense like Vintage, and that's what we've seen tonight.
Yeah.
And how does Petaluma turn their head? They got a lot of league games coming up. They got 3 league games in the next week to play. How do they kind of turn things around?
Well, you definitely just can't let one loss get to you. I mean, Vintage seems like they're just perfectly made to deal with Petaluma tonight. And I think the Trojans really need to just understand that this is a loss that they really didn't have a chance at, and that they should focus on winning more games and trying to be the best team they can be in league.
Yeah, sometimes you can't reflect on all your games. Vintage has been the better team here tonight. 8 minutes left to go here. It's been a good atmosphere. Trojans were hanging around early. Vintage only led by 4 with a couple minutes left in the first. But a 9-0 run ballooned the Vintage lead to 15. Crushers have never really looked back since then. Petaluma started the game with 2 straight buckets, 2 by Eric Cad, and it looked like Petaluma was going to be able to compete in this offensive shootout, but they only scored 4 points the rest of the quarter, and it's been a struggle since. Stays Petaluma ball. It's a shooting foul, so Catarzoli, who's one of the more physical players for Petaluma, will head to the line. Once again, 3 straight live streams. They don't do it a lot. But continue to stay right here on our Trojan Live YouTube channel tomorrow night at 7. Boys basketball team takes on Vintage, and then Saturday night at 7. The girls basketball team's back in action against Justin Siena. Next week, we've got 3 in a row again, Peter. Wednesday night, boys basketball team takes on league favorite American Canyon. That's going to be a big one. Thursday night, girls basketball team takes on Casa, obviously the big rival game, and then Friday night, you'll be doing the play-by-play for the big boys at basketball Egg Bowl. It's always one of the loudest atmospheres for a sporting event.
Totally, yeah.
I'm cautioning you, Peter. You haven't experienced it. You might lose your voice. You gotta really severely I'm blanking on the word. You got to calibrate and acclimate for the loudness and how much your vocal cords hold up.
Got to study on my basketball too.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty for Mr. Canale to do. We'll continue even, I don't know exactly the games the next week. A lot of Petaluma teams are on the road, but we'll continue to cover, and don't worry, we've got a lot of soccer coverage coming up as well. Got about 3 to 4 league games for both boys and girls, and the way both teams are playing, we are going to be headed out to a lot of soccer, and it should be interesting. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of winning, hopefully, out on the soccer pitch. Haven't seen it on the boys' basketball court just yet, at least in abundance. And the girls will tie their loss from last year as they've been below expectations. Buchanan's over and back, but when you realize the youth on this team, I think the expectations were a little bit too high for this squad, and going into a new league was good for them as well. I think day in and day out, they're going to become a better team because of the teams they're playing. SCL, you really just don't benefit from automatic victories over LC Allen and El Molino. When Petaluma's at its best, they shouldn't even be challenged by Pioneer or Fieldsburg. Just going through the contact. She is so good. Alyssa Andrews well into double digits. She's a star, Peter, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really been carrying Vintage today, I feel like, with her just prowess with the sport in general, I think.
Petaluma hasn't been able to stop her. Ayers almost took off the head of photographer Dwight Sugioka. Just got out of the way in time. What a dangerous role being a photographer sitting anywhere in the court. You never know what's going to happen there. Saw this great clip. I think it was C.J. McCollum, who's a player for the Trailblazers, though I could be mistaken. But one of the more vocal players in the NBA, he was so frustrated with a call that he just sat down in a courtside seat and started chatting with the fans next to him. They gave him a technical for that, but it certainly was enjoyable to watch. And it's a good side basketball. The ball trying to get near us, and now it's a fun route to try to get there for Victoria Solorio. It's like a jigsaw puzzle trying to get through there. There's
Definitely,
tables
yeah.
everywhere. Pressure's back to the line, and Los Andrews, for whatever reason, still in this ballgame. Vintage good free throw shooting team. Petaluma, they don't shoot well from the field. They only shoot 29% from the field, 18% from the three-point line, and they're only 46% from the free throw line. Compared to last year, 42% from the field, 29% from three-point line, 54% from the free throw line. So all of those have dropped by at least 5 to 10%. Field goal percentage by nearly 15%. So a big reason why Petaluma struggled more. Line changes for both teams coming up as the Crushers are going to go to 3-0 in league play, and the Trojans in their first ever VVAL game are going to suffer a loss, their first league loss in a long time, all the way since the 2016-17 season. Once the Temple has ended for the first time. That's off the mark. Nice steal by Bacon. Some of the Petaluma reserves getting in on the action. Buchanan off the mark. She hasn't hit a three, and Petaluma's really struggled to shoot from downtown tonight. 47-24, approaching 4 minutes remaining. It's Thursday night affair. Nothing but net there, but not through the rim. That's a shot clock violation. Vintage has played a lot of long possessions. It's been taxing for Petaluma. And probably how hard it is to play on defense translates to their struggles offensively, wouldn't you think?
I would say so, yeah.
And one of the easiest ways to score through steals, blocks, turnovers, getting out in the open court. Petaluma did that a lot, and when they had a season high in scoring in a 61-30 victory over Novato, and a lot of open court easy lay-ins. It's basically been Petaluma struggled to force a lot of turnovers. Whoa! A football-like play from Victoria Solorio.
Good steal by Pate there. Sorry, Griffin.
No
I
worries.
did not mean to cut you off there.
But Petaluma has not gotten a lot of open court, at least, turnovers, especially not a lot of turnovers in the second half. And they've been forced to go into this half court, weave through Vintage players, and finish at the rack, which has been a struggle itself. Head coach John Ratchin calls timeout. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Vintage. His head coach Joe Donahoe is doing an excellent job with the Crushers. It's good to see them get their 10th victory of this season. Well, Peter, I know we had this conversation back in October when Petaluma football team was playing Napa. If you remember, we were discussing the triangle or the cowbell.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's quite interesting because it really depends on the person.
Right.
And I've talked to a lot of friends that are very cowbell, and they don't understand the triangle, but a lot of Trojan Live people, for whatever reason, I think every other Trojan Live person I've talked to, and I've discussed some on air, are triangle people. So I don't know if it's a journalism vibe that's encouraging the triangle or what, but I do think the majority of people prefer the cowbell.
Well, I think this might be a little bit of a bias.
You think I'm a little biased?
I think this is a little biased. Yeah, you said you're friends, right? So they would obviously have similar opinions. I think we should do
But I have friends like you're my friend. I have friends in Trojan Live.
Oh, of
and
course.
They told me the triangle, but when I talked to other people that weren't in Trojan Live, they were just like me, very vehemently.
Just like you.
Cowbell. But
Cowbell,
Trojan Live people
interesting.
like me too.
It's true.
I don't know. Maybe it's a personality
I would say that, yeah.
Well,
Cowbell definitely a little more duller and, you know, sort of like, it's like a big, like, you know, big bell thing, while triangle is much more sophisticated and
But I think
intelligent.
cowbell people are far more culturally rich and diverse and have a greater appreciation and lust for life.
I would say the opposite actually, because the cowbell is just a monotone
But
sound.
the cowbell makes a beautiful, gorgeous sound.
It's only one
that's
sound.
changed by the way you shake it, and is a cultural representation of a place like Petaluma being an agricultural community.
Oh, all right, I
community.
see.
Or a place like
Yes.
Mississippi State, Starkville, everyone there brings a cowbell to the game to make noise. No one's gonna bring a triangle to a football game.
Well, no, because a triangle isn't like that. A triangle has its own culture. It is of like
Well,
a
what
more.
culture is a triangle? Ayakapi likes it.
Well, I'd say it's more of like a high class culture to a sense. Like it's
The
definitely
triangle is elitist.
yes.
Ah.
Exactly.
So I guess people in Trojan Live are a little bit more elitist, and my friends are, more the average middle class. So I think that we found the cowbell is the instrument of the people, and the triangle.
Oh,
is the
I
instrument
see
of the
it.
upper
Damn,
class
that's
here. I like your
Mr. Vice,
I like your
the
reasoning
Vice Governor
here.
of the JSA
Seneca.
destroying me. Wow.
I'm not destroying you. I'm just looking at your reasoning and making an observation. As Eric Cat with a nice land trying to get that over to 30.
Someone's feeling better.
Feel free, if you have an opinion on the cowbell or the triangle, to leave any comments in the live chat. We won't publicly attack you, even if we disagree with your opinion. Don't worry. This has been a Trojan Live year-long debate between the two. Stays pedaling the ball here, under 2 minutes left. The lead is 21. The Trojans low in scoring on the season. Was their first game of the year, actually, which we were at. That's on our YouTube channel. 34 points they scored against a very physical, aggressive press of Rancho Cotati. Petaluma not looking like, unless they get real hot, that they're going to reach that. It's been a cold night. It's cold outside. It's been pretty warm in this gym. Lots of energy. Not enough for Petaluma. Buchanan gets her first points of the game and cuts the lead to 19. Crushers have led wire to wire here, and lead by 25. That cowbell has fueled them to 3-0 in the play. Nice jumper by Delaney Morse, the senior 5'5", power forward. Buchanan feeling it. Petaluma still just 2 3-pointers, and then you knew coming in they needed to make a lot of shots, hit a lot of 3-pointers if they wanted to compete with the Crushers. Nevin had an early bucket, but since then she's been pretty quiet. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game. We will talk with a star of the game. One of the players on the Petaluma Varsity Girls basketball team to get their thoughts on this hard-fought loss to league favorite Vintage. And get their thoughts on how the rest of the year is going to go for them in league. Believe it or not, there's not that much time left in the season already. Just over a month until senior night for Petaluma in their last game of VVAL play against Sonoma Valley on the 14th. Trojans would like to go to NCS. They're currently seated 15th. Captain's always fouled. Trojans in a good league, got some nice victories over some good teams. I don't have a lot of big victories over good teams yet, especially with not really that strong of a non-conference schedule. Trojans likely would see a spot in NCS, but it's hard to see them getting anywhere near a home game like they did last year as a 9 seed. So they did only get the home game because they won the league, but if the Trojans lost to Vintage tonight, a league title looking pretty unlikely. Petaluma looking unlikely to go back-to-back here tonight. Arizoli splits the pair. Crushers lead trim to 20. Petaluma's going to fall to 7-6, 0-1 in VVAL. Vintage to 10-5, 3-0 in VVAL. Yeah. Airball by Matty Macias, one of the 7 seniors for Vintage. Vintage out of East Napa. I've had a lot of success sporting-wise. Their football team went to the semifinals of
NCS. Wrestling team pretty good, though. The Trojans knocked them off, but overall Vintage Athletics have really blossomed, and they are probably going to be the best school with the most league titles at the end of the year. Spring sports are coming up, too. They're less than a month away from official practice for spring sports starting. A lot of good teams for Petaluma. Should be interesting. That's going to do it here for Petaluma High School. I see it. Final score. I see it in the bag. Final score here tonight, 51-31. Petaluma, a season low in points. Defense was stingy at times, but just not able to keep up with the Crushers, who went on a 9-0 run in the second quarter. And Petaluma never really able to cut into the deficit. Stay tuned. We are going to talk with a star of the game for Petaluma today. New York playing to celebrate the new year. So stay right here. Interviews are next. Turn off your Hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well. All right. You want to take a seat right there? Could we put it on us, Ben? Oh, on us on there. And then can you press record, Peter? Thank you. All right. Are we recording? Okay. We are here with Taylor Ayacapi. Guys fought hard, fall by 21 to league favorite Vintage team. What do you take away from this game?
Well, just to work harder next time and know that this is the best team in the league. So we only lost by 20, which is a lot, but it's fine. We just need to work harder next time and work hard in practice. I think we'll be okay.
And you've been one of the sophomores that have really started to step up, added more points, taken the load off Shireen Arakat, who's been leading the team with scoring. You've had a good game tonight. How have the sophomores been able to develop a scoring and mesh with this young team?
Well, I don't know. We've just been working really hard in the off season, and me and Rose, we've been working really hard together, and Shireen has been a really big help on my successful journey. And I don't know. I just feel like our team has been doing pretty well as a group, and we just need to keep working hard.
What's your goal? It's first game in the VVAL. What's your goal at the end of Vine Valley? Where do you want to see this team in February?
Well, I want to see us just trying our hardest and just try not to be down on ourselves when we lose games and just work hard, and that's really all we can do.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Appreciate it. That was Taylor Ayacapi, Trojan sophomore guard, who had a nice game tonight, led Petaluma in scoring in a couple threes, kept the Trojans in it for a while. Both of you can join me on here. Ben Vanderveer did a wonderful job on camera tonight, kind of emergency coming over, so really appreciate it. Ben, you are the best, and he does so much of what Trojan Live does. It wouldn't be the same without him. Don't forget, Peter, we have a bonanza of live streams coming up tomorrow night. The boys basketball team taking on the Vintage Crushers. The girls basketball team Saturday night at 7 against the Justin Seattle Braves. So continue staying right here on our YouTube channel if you missed any of this game. And it's up on our YouTube channel, the full game for prosperity.
How many games are that, Griffin?
How many games are on our YouTube channel?
Altogether, what upcoming games?
Oh, what do you mean?
How many like upcoming games are we?
We have 5 games in the next 2 weeks, so that's a bonanza if I've ever seen one. Yeah, it should be fun, so stay right here. Trojan basketball will also have full coverage of the soccer teams who are playing really well, so stay right here. But the final score here tonight, 51-30, Petaluma loses its first league game in close to 2 years, but up against league favorite Vintage, they look like they're going to win league. Trojans battle hard, much to take away. We'll see how they do on Saturday. For Ben Vandermeer and Peter Canali, I'm Griffin Upside. Good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Joe, I'm gonna go and I'll see you guys